What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and for today's video I want to show some love to Miss Marvel because she's a character who was really popular when I first started playing this game. However, she's slowly becoming a relic right now because outside of the super fans, not a lot of people use her, and that's not even because her kit is terrible, it's just because she just does not have what we are looking for in the current state of this game. Like for me personally guys, whenever we get characters and whenever I'm looking at any character, I'm looking for 6 things in particular. Do they have summons? Do they have lots of iframes? Do they have crazy high burst DPS? Do they have AoE? Do they have crowd control? And do they have damage block? If they have a combination of 2 or more of those 6 things, then they automatically become a character that I look forward to testing out because there's a high chance that they're going to be really good, okay? And of those 6 things, Miss Marvel, she only has 1, guys. She only has this skill right here, Binary Explosion. And although it gives her damage immunity for 5 seconds, and that is amazing because it's on a 12-second cooldown, do the math, guys, 50% of that, that's 6 seconds, guys. Once you get max skill cooldown, you can be immune to damage for the majority of the time you're using her. There's only going to be a 1-second gap, although keep in mind that there are characters that can deal damage to you even if you're in a state of constant immunity, right? Some of these characters are characters like Ghost Rider, who even though none of his skills say that he can deal damage to you while you're in a state of damage immunity, he will still somehow deal damage to you. So keep that in mind, guys. And this aside, her kit is actually pretty freaking disappointing. I'm gotta say, guys, it's a year 1 kit for a year 1 character, right? She's in desperate need of a rework, in my opinion, or a new uniform. But to be honest, I really dig this uniform, so I would rather not get a new uniform, and personally I would rather not pay for a new uniform because she still needs something. Like her base kit is way too lackluster to just slap a uniform on it and just be like, that's all we're gonna do for her, right? Because she has no CC, she has no AoE, she pretty much only has this partial iframe right here, and that's it. And on top of that, guys, these skill cooldown times, like the native cooldown times, are actually not optimal for her. Like you guys will see when I start playing her a little bit later on, but whenever you get max skill cooldown, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of having skill cooldown, to be honest with you, because you're not going to be in a state where most characters are at, where once you have max skill cooldown, you can just effectively cycle through the skills and you always have a skill that you can go into. With Miss Marvel, that's not going to be the case. No matter which skill you start with, no matter which skill you end with, there's always going to be a 1 or 2 second gap depending on how slowly you're clicking the skills, and that is without skill canceling, guys. So depending on how slowly you're clicking the skills, like if you're clicking the skills as soon as the animation ends, you're going to have like 2 seconds where you either have to use the big auto attack button or you're going to have to run away from the mobs if you're not in a state of damage immunity or if you're up against someone who can hit you while you're immune to damage. So for those reasons, she's not really all that good. Even though at tier 2, she gets this crazy buff right here that makes it so that her damage immunity lasts even longer. Like all her buffs, which the 5 skill is one big buff, it decreases her skill cooldown, but I personally don't care for that. I still built her to have max skill cooldown without this. The decrease to damage received is nice, and the increased all attack is definitely nice because her base damage is not really that good. Even though she does have a good leadership to help bump up her damage, it's still pretty lackluster, especially since she's a universal type, right? Her damage is pretty pitiful in my opinion, so she definitely needs more than this, like in my opinion. But with this buff right here from the tier 2, she can actually stay in the binary explosion indefinitely, guys. Like as long as your cooldown is maxed out, so 36% plus the 14% that you're getting from your alliance, as long as you have that 50%, you can stay in this freaking skill all the time, because that 1 second gap that was there before is no longer going to be there. You're going to be able to just recast this skill on top of already being in a state of immunity. It's actually pretty crazy. She becomes even more tanky than someone like Captain America, right? but at the same time, she's pretty similar to Captain America, where the majority of her skills pretty much has nothing on them and they're only single target skills. So she's kind of a one-on-one kind of a character. And it's good in a way where when she's in a radiant form, she can actually guard break you by just punching you in the face. So like if you just keep tapping the big attack button while you have no skills that you can use, you can actually just constantly guard break the opponent, and as long as they don't dodge, you can actually win an entire fight by doing that. But for stuff like Alliance Battle or World Boss, you can't just guard break the opponent constantly, and to be honest, you shouldn't have to rely on the auto attack button when other characters in this game don't ever have to use all of their skills and they can just mow down pretty much anything, right? The fact that you have to cycle through all her skills and you still have to use the auto attack button or run away is actually pretty pitiful for a character that's as beloved as Miss Marvel, right? She definitely needs more than this. The biggest thing that I think she needs is to just lower the native cooldown on these 3 skills right here. Like, even if it's only by 1 second, it would actually make a really big improvement, because then you will have a skill that you can always cycle into and just give her a stun or something. You know, that would make her a lot more usable than she is right now, to me, right? I honestly think she deserves at least that. Alright, so as for her gears over here, her gears are not all that bad. She does have energy attack and crit rate in the first slot. And when you're rolling her, guys, you want to go something similar to what I have. You want to get for energy in the first 2 slots, so energy attack per level in the first 2. And then you want to get all attack or energy attack for the remaining slot, right? You don't want to get anything physical. Just copy what you see, guys. Next slot right here, you got energy defense and dodge. This slot is not 100% terrible because you did get energy defense, but it should have been all defense as a universal type. That's what I kind of expected, but we got energy defense. It's still better than physical defense because I'm going to keep saying it. You guys probably already know it's coming, but energy attacking characters dominate this game. So if I'm going to get either energy or physical, I'll take energy any day of the week, right? Would have liked this second slot to be something else, but I'll take dodge, I guess. As for the remaining slots, I generally go for energy defense per level, but since you already got energy defense there, I just rolled for all defense in all the remaining slots and just called it a day, right? Next slot right here is also a hit and miss. Got attack speed, which is kind of good, but kind of bad in this case because having more attack speeds means your animations are faster, so you're gonna cycle through your skills faster and end up having no skills to use. You see where I'm going with this, right? So it's kind of like, in most cases, attack speed is great, but in this case, having more attack speed when the native cooldown on my skills is suboptimal is just kind of like, whatever, man. Like, it doesn't even matter. But whatever, I guess I'll take attack speed here. Movement speed, pretty bad. There's nothing else I can say. Movement speed is pretty terrible. I would have liked this slot to have HP in it. Like, HP would have been nice. So as for the slots, I want to go ahead and roll HP per level. For the first one, the second one you can do the same. Just make sure you get 183% or higher. And after the first 2, just go ahead and roll HP for the remaining slots and you're golden, okay? Next slot right here, you got crit damage and skill cooldown. This is a good slot for me, and since my skill cooldown coming from my cards was maxed out, I went ahead and just rolled ignore defense in this slot right here because that's one of the 2 things for me that she's missing from her gear. So no ignore defense and no HP, right? And as for her obelisk, guys, I went ahead and threw this one on her just as a placeholder for now. It has immunity to guard break, which is not really that important. I mainly put it here for the ignore defense and the damage proc, to be honest with you, right? And as for her ISO set, guys, this ISO set right here is really old. I put it on her a long time ago, back before she even had binary explosion. Well, she did have binary explosion, it just did not give her immunity. So she had less survivability than she has now. So to be honest with you guys, I'm probably going to go ahead and change this to overdrive, which is why I didn't swap out that 3-star ISO just yet. So this one's been long enough. Let's go in here and actually get some gameplay with her. Where you at, Miss Marvel? Let's go, girl. Alright, let's do this. Kind of sad that this is pretty much all she's good for, as such a powerful and iconic character as she is. But then again, when you compare the fact that Iron Man been out since day one, he's way more popular than her, and still can't do pretty much anything. And you guys can see that Ghost Rider is still damaging me even though I'm in my immunity. And you guys can see that I keep having to run away once I cycle through my skills. So they definitely need to go ahead and lower the cooldown by a few seconds on her skills. And that shouldn't be a really big deal for them to do, because they did the same thing for Black Bolt and he became a lot better. Granted, they did more than just that when they did it, but they should at least do that for her. Give her a stun or something, or give her some AoE or something. She deserves more than what she has, guys. Goddamn. And you guys can see what I'm talking about right here. So let me just go in my Radiant form, and you guys can see that Rodin is just gonna get guard broken constantly as long as I'm in my Radiant form, right? And as long as he doesn't dodge. If he dodges the attacks, then yes, but you can just pretty much hit the big button and just punch him in the face, and he's just gonna keep flinching. Listen, stay in this corner and get punched. Get punched, bro. Okay, I'm done playing with you. It's so funny to watch this guy flinch from getting punched by a girl. She is a powerful girl though, and she deserves a lot more than this. And that's all I have to say for this one, guys. If you think Miss Marvel is better than I said, let me know how you guys have her built. Let me know what you can do with her. And I'll see you guys in the next one, man. And I'm out.